Chapter 43, $1 Million Quartet. Jerry Lee is playing piano on the session. I chat with Marion, sweet and wonderful as ever, the voice of reason. We listen in. It's going well until the doorbell rings, and in comes the boy, accompanied by a mature-looking woman with a brown updo. He hasn't seen me yet, and I consider slipping out the back. But Marion has already announced that I'm here, and sneaking off would seem petty, too far from my usual self. So I step into the reception area and wave. He looks embarrassed. He's with a woman I don't know. He introduces her to Marion and me as Marilyn Evans. Sam comes out to greet him. Jerry Lee and Carl join too, and the boy drops down at the piano. Carl doesn't seem to mind that he's taken over. They start to play, Jerry Lee jumping in, and an impromptu jam begins. I sit on the other side of the glass with Marion and the new girl. He winks at me, shrugs, glances at her, then back again. I don't know where to look. I try to be gracious, not as petty as I feel. I smile at her. She's probably as confused as I am. Then Johnny Cash walks in. Always fun, always kind. You'd expect him to be brooding, but he's excellent company. He sits beside me and we listen together. Even if I'm cross with the boy, the music is joyous. Sam starts recording, everyone's having a ball. Johnny leans toward me. You let him know you were coming? No, I say. He shakes his head. You ought to have. You know how he is, bad that way. I didn't even know I was coming. I bumped into Sam earlier. He thinks for a bit. He wouldn't do nothing to hurt you, not on purpose. I've seen you two together since you were kids. The boy comes over during a break. You all right? Sure am, I say too quickly. Why wouldn't I be? She's just a gal I met out in Vegas, he murmurs, trying to catch my eye. Sure. Real good to see you, he adds sweetly. The boy reaches for my hand. I pull away. So he starts a superficial story about his new car, how he can't wait to take me for a spin. Johnny asks if I want to go next door for a Coke. The boy watches, annoyed I'm not playing along. Don't let one showgirl from Vegas mess up what y'all got, Johnny says, fiddling with his glass. I don't think we're talking about just one showgirl, I laugh too lightly. Give him some room. This fame stuff, it'll pass. You shouldn't walk away on account of it. You're still going to need each other through and after. Trust me, I'm just starting to realize a few things, that's all. Honey, let him go do his thing without judgment, he says gently. He's the best-looking son of a gun I've ever seen. There'll always be girls, but he'll come to terms with it in time, and in the meantime, I'm just supposed to be at his beck and call? Course not. But ask yourself if that bond you've got is worth more than this phase, 'cause what you two have, that don't come around often. Yes, sir, I say moodily. All right then, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and let's head back in. Thanks for the pep talk, I tell him. Anytime, he says, placing his hand lightly on my shoulder. Are we back on? Sam asks when I step inside. Sure. No more drama? There was never any drama, I reply. I wonder why women are always accused of causing it. I'm allowed to have feelings, and I'm hardly ever bewitched by them. The boy comes over to hug me. I can't make a statement to you right now, he says quietly. Wouldn't be fair to her. She's my guest. I get it, I reply flatly. He walks back into the studio and starts singing You Belong to My Heart, eyes fixed on me across the room. The Vegas girl watches, then glances over. We've been together so long, do we have to separate this way? He breaks into another rhythm, trying to make it playful. But I've already stepped outside. I'm standing on the pavement with Johnny when the boy comes out, full of charm. Hey, baby, he calls. I look up. Marilyn's still inside, chatting with Jerry Lee and Carl. I'd tell you a story, he says, reaching for my hand, but I don't want to lie to you. I say nothing. She's leaving tomorrow. I don't want to upset her, so I'll call on you after she's gone, all right? I mumble something incoherent. I know I have no right to be cross. We're not exactly a couple anymore. I also have a boyfriend up east. I've missed you, he says, eyes locking with mine. I can't wait to see you. You understand me? Johnny steps in. I think she does, he says, calm but clear. Then to me, tell you what, Al, I'll take Miss Birdie out for a bite with me and the boys. We'll look after her tonight. You just go on home now." The boy smiles, grateful. He waves at us. "Thanks, Johnny. I'll see you tomorrow, darlin'." Chapter 44. God only knows. Turns out I'm a little more sensitive than I thought. Thank God for Johnny and his guys taking me out last night. Johnny sees things clearly. He's thoughtful. We talked about Jerry Lee, Killer, as they call him, how wild he is, yet how much of a genius. He's like a rock and roll Mozart, someone laughed. I cried a little on the inside, but I was grateful to Johnny for trying so hard to cheer me up. I'm upstairs sulking in my room when Miss Mary brings me a bowl of cut fruit and a glass of ice water. "Honey," she says, sitting at the edge of my bed, "it's all right to have feelings that aren't always so understanding and stoic." I nod, still downcast. "I don't think you know how important it is to know yourself fully," she continues. "You gotta feel what you feel, not just tell yourself how you ought to feel. You already are as good as they come." Well, she pauses. Most of the time, anywho. "Now let yourself be free to experience the negative emotions too. You don't always gotta be so understanding." She touches my foot before standing again. Quietly, I begin to cry. "You sit with yourself now, feel every bit of it," she says gently. "You'll know what to do once you've done that. I'll be downstairs to pick you up if you fall into the pain of it. It's all right, darling." "Thank you," I whisper. I already feel a little better. "Now try to eat something," she says. "You're skin and bones, girl. I'm just a little down in the mouth, Miss Mary. I know you are, baby girl. It's all right. I'll come down in a little while." I hear the doorbell, and of course I think it's the boy. I run down the stairs, forgetting all about being upset with him, but it's Mrs. P outside. "Mrs. P, what's wrong?" I ask. "Do you want Miss Mary?" She nods, and I take her coat, hang it in the cloakroom, and lead her into the kitchen. For once, I'm the one making the coffee and offering slices of pie. I serve for Mrs. P and Miss Mary, who are talking quietly at the table. Mrs. P is sorry about the boy flaunting strange women in front of me. She confides that he's had a lot of different girls coming through the house lately, and she can't quite keep up. She tells the story of Natalie Wood's visits. I tried hard to make it comfortable for her to stay with us, but I think she expected something different, that they could share a bedroom, for one. But I won't have that kind of shenanigans under my roof. Her voice rises with indignation, then softens again. "The boy called her crazy," she says. "I don't know if she is. But she wasn't as nice as many of his other girls." "I'm sorry, Birdie, but you know what he's like." "I do. Can I get you anything else? I have only ever heard good things about Natalie Wood myself, and I doubt she's suddenly changed into someone you can label as crazy. I wonder if it might have more to do with the boy than with her." I leave the pie out, but Miss Mary shakes her head and gestures for me to sit. Mrs. P takes my hand. "I don't like all these new girls," she says. "They're after things that have nothing to do with my son." She wipes a tear from her eye. "What do you mean, Mrs. P?" I ask gently. "You have the most wonderful son in the world. Most girls in the country would fall in love with him if they got to know him." I squeeze her hand and smile. "You're wrong there," she says. "They're after all the wrong things, and I'm nervous for him." I refill their coffee cups. "I feel like my house is turning into a brothel," she blurts out. "All the girls, all the time. They're in the yard, out front day and night, and I suspect he lets them in during the night, too." Miss Mary looks appalled. That's not the boy she knows. She actually seems surprised, which makes me chuckle at the most inappropriate time. I cough to disguise it. Surely not. "Not our boy?" She looks at me. I shrug and pretend to be surprised, too. "He's a pleaser," Mrs. P says. "He doesn't want to turn them down. He gives too much of himself. That'll be his downfall." She shakes her head. "I came to say hello and to tell Miss Birdie my son will be over once he's sent Marilyn back on a plane later today." She gives me a hug. "He is sorry." I squeeze her hand gently to calm her. Miss Mary drives her home. "I'll go talk to him," Miss Mary says as they leave. "I didn't know it was this bad. Let's work this out." Mrs. P pauses before getting in the car. My dream for him was always just to make enough in this music racket so he could open a furniture store with you, Miss Birdie. You who like designing interiors so much. And my boy, who just needs something to do, someone to love, something to look forward to. She tries to smile. I just wanted you two to get married, for Vernon and me to have grandchildren, for you both to stay in town and be close to us. She starts crying again. Miss Mary puts an arm around her and leads her to the car. Now, Mrs. P, let's not worry too much for one day. This boy's fate is his mother's worst nightmare, I think, as I watch the car leave the drive. He's growing apart from her at a speed she can't navigate. It was only a moment ago he was her little boy. I feel heavy, sad, as if everything has changed and there's no going back. I can hardly drag myself up the stairs. Once in my room, I fall asleep on the bed, even though it's the middle of the afternoon. I'm tired. I need to rest. I wake up at dusk. The boy sits beside me on the bed, stroking my hair, watching as I open my eyes. Hey, did I wake ya? He asks. I mumble. How long have you been sitting there? He shrugs. A while. He asks if he can crawl into bed so we can talk. I tell him he can. He takes off his pants and lies down beside me. I'm sorry, he says. There's a lot going on, things out of my control. He looks me in the eye, suddenly serious. Everything's happening so fast, and you're away at school. I can't depend on you like before, and that's on you, not me. I let him speak, even though I dread what's coming. I don't know what would have happened if you'd stayed here, he says. Maybe I wouldn't even have started in this racket. Maybe just living an ordinary life would have been enough. I chortle. We both know the truth to that one. He sighs. But life ain't panning out that way. You don't belong here. He starts to cry. Your life's up east in that world of elite people. That you even came here at all is a miracle. I wipe his tears away. In some ways, he says, voice breaking, I believe you willed your way here to be with me. Me too, I say. It feels like you're this angel who comes down to sit with me, he says, pulling me close. I can call on you when I need you. You're good at looking after me. I stay quiet, stroking his hair. I love our little pockets in time, he says. They're everything I could wish for, but I need to live outside those moments too. I want you with me, but I know your life ain't meant to be lived in my shadow. I'm crying now as well. We lie quietly in bed together, opening up to a new chapter that isn't what I wanted, but maybe it's what we need. You'll always be the summer to my winter, he murmurs, kissing my forehead. I know, I whisper. But do you? He asks. Do you know the power of what we share? He tells me he's seen psychics out west who've talked about our soul bond. I almost laugh, but I'm crying too because it makes me happy to know he feels it too. That it's not just me who sees us for what we are. After we've showered and gotten ready for bed, he picks up his guitar and sings I'll Never Let You Go, Little Darlin' to me. I've got some time to hang out, I hear myself offer. He smiles. Can we do that while you're here? I'd love nothing more. I'm here all of December, I say. I have essays to write, but otherwise I'm here if you need me. Swell, he says. That makes me happier than you'll ever know. I hope you need me too. As dusk turns into a sparsely moonlit night, we don't sleep. We lie awake, talking quietly whenever one of us has something to say, drifting in and out of shallow dreams, waking because the other is still awake, watching, waiting. Between the rising crescent moon and its setting, we repeat this over and over, sometimes glancing up at the silvery dust scattered above us from some distant, enchanted place. We laugh because we both feel it, that what we are living is extraordinary. There is joy in it, even amid the sorrow. We kiss, we make love, we talk and laugh. This is the end of childhood and the beginning of a friendship that will always be a love story too. It will never not be one. It will only grow, changing shape and size, but always holding us at its center. I look at this beautiful boy, and when I close my eyes, I see his soul clearly. We dance and play as we always have, and I know we'll continue to orbit each other long after our time here is done. Somewhere, in another place, we'll meet again. Our souls will still recognize the spark. They'll dance and set each other alight. We are children who play, but here we are slowly becoming adults. Adults who will always see the child they first met in the other, who still tend the seed planted back in 1948, or perhaps in some earlier life, or time, or place. We cry a little and say things we've never shared before, or perhaps never even known until now. He is my beautiful boy, and I am his wild, beautiful bird. And through time I hear an echo reverberate, words drifting toward me from somewhere else. I know I shouldn't want to keep you if you don't want to stay. Yeah, until you've gone forever, I'll be holding on for dear life, holding you this way, begging you to stay. Chapter 45. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. The boy is vexed that I haven't seen Love Me Tender, so he takes me to Lowe's that evening. He whispers all the way through, pointing out what he wishes he'd done differently. We could have watched this at home, and you could have talked as much as you liked, I tell him. He looks surprised. What? You got it? Sure do. And you still ain't seen it? I've been with you the whole time I've been back, I say. Well, almost. He grins. Let's go home then. I'll tell you all about it. He drags me out of the theater, and we watch it again in the screening room. Between mouthfuls of popcorn and sips of soda, he points things out, proud, excited, still half convinced this dream could vanish any minute. He even cries a little, saying he's glad I'm here to witness it all. Me too, I tell him. Want to come with me and George to WDIA's Goodwill Review tonight? He asks casually. We're at Jim's barber shop on South Main, where the boy's having his hair cut. Sure, I say. But are we allowed in? Sure we are. We'll stay backstage, though. I don't want to make a fuss. He says it lightly. I'm a bit concerned that our presence might be intrusive. 2 white kids at an event like this. The boy assures me it's fine, explaining that George is working at the show and we've been invited. If we hadn't, he says sharply, I'd never impose. He's clearly excited. You'll love it, he exclaims. I'm sure I will. I walk over to the chair and smile at him in the mirror, resting my hand on his shoulder. He touches it and tells me, beaming, that B.B. King and Ray Charles will be there. Wow, that's amazing, I say. I can't wait. He grins, me either. His leg bounces restlessly, as it always does. You ought to get that under control, I tease. Come here, you. He laughs, tickling me before jumping out of the chair to pay. He leaves a tip for the barber, and we rush out to the car, always moving, always going places. The show is pure fun. We stay backstage, where BB greets the boy like an old friend, and everyone is genuinely pleased to see him there. We keep sending each other big wow faces. The music is miles better than at any square white musician's review. Here we have gospel, rhythm and blues, and even a funny comedian during the break. We dance quietly in the wings, trying to be discreet, but no one seems to mind. We can't help ourselves. When DJ Rufus Thomas insists the boy come out to say hello, the crowd goes wild. None of us expected it. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I'm taken with the energy. When a man named Nat Williams from the station, standing next to me, asks why the girls are losing their minds over this white boy while barely reacting to Ray or BB, I tell him it's universal, that the boy is simply magnetic, and it's got nothing to do with race. He's just a good-looking kid, I say, sounding more like his PR manager than his sometime lady. Mr. Williams looks at me. He doesn't say anything, so I continue. I mean, just like me and all my friends, we adore Sam Cooke, think he's the most incredibly handsome and gifted man. Mr. Williams smiles, I suppose, he says. I shake his hand and tell him it's a pleasure to meet him. We're in a riotous mood when we get home. The boy is always full of beans after hearing rhythm and blues, so you can probably guess what we get up to, and we don't sleep much. But what 21-year-olds need much sleep anyway? I'm grateful Miss Mary sleeps out back in her own little house, because the boy is so energetic he keeps getting up to sing and play his guitar. He laughs as he sings Wear My Ring Around Your Neck and tells me most of his songs are somehow connected to me. But not Lottie, Miss Claudie, I say. No, not that one. He laughs. Surely not that one. Jesus, I have more respect for you than that. I wonder how men can so easily divide their women into good girls and bad girls, and never judge themselves by the same standards. I also wonder why no one ever sees me for what I really am, a bad girl. A very, very bad girl. It's as though everyone in my life chooses to ignore that side of me. Even Miss Mary, who still doesn't know that the boy and I have shared bedrooms for years. Topper, who refuses to acknowledge that I'm a wicked little thing. And even Tilly, who sees me as this wholesome, moral soul she happens to call her best friend. Come to think of it, Cornelia's the only one who ever really sees me for what I am, and she doesn't seem to mind at all. She just thinks it's absolutely fine, even if she isn't the slightest bit as bad as I am. The boy tells me Dixie's gotten married and asks if I'd like to drive over to see her sometime, to say hello, see how she's doing. Of course I do. I hope she'll have a happy life, he says, suddenly melancholy. I'm sure she will, I say. A girl like Dixie will. She's such a good girl. Then he says, I have another one before bed, and plays I was the one sitting by the window, looking out into the night. It feels like a farewell to her, and I hope she understands it's for her. I'm sure she does. I applaud, and the boy jumps into bed again. I think I might have a disease, he says, half embarrassed. If you do, I say, you should have told me sooner. I don't want to catch anything. He looks down, not like that. I think I have a sex maniac disease. I guffaw. You do? He nods solemnly. I think I'm a nymphomaniac. I tell him all 21-year-olds probably are. Now stop talking, I say, and prove it. The screenwriter for the boy's next movie is in Memphis to get to know him. The studio wants the film to echo his life and rise to fame. We giggle about it. Film's now being written to fit him. Him. It's kind of mad, I say. He shakes his head with a grin. He's excited, but also humble. We can joke and pretend he's a megalomaniac, but he isn't. All this fame hasn't changed him much. He's grown into it somehow, though he's still the silly baby I've known since the 40s. You bet I am, he says, winking from the driver's seat of my Cadillac, the one we've been using around town since everyone recognizes his. This way, we can move in peace. At the hayride performance, I sit with the man from the film, Hahn-Etc, both writer and director. He's mesmerized by the crowd's near-religious frenzy at the boy's entrance. He asks endless questions about us, how long we've known each other, what he's like off stage. I feel like I'm being interviewed for a job. I steer everything back to the boy, how wonderful, gifted, and sweet he is. How we're all so proud of him. How he's still the same kind Southern boy he's always been. And again, I feel like I'm doing his PR, but I don't mind. Still, I don't want to be part of the circus. I prefer the sidelines. And Hahn-Etc, he's one of those men who knows exactly how to make a canary sing. Before I know it, he's shaking my hand and saying, I hope to see you again, Miss Darling. Don't hesitate to visit the set if you're around. Then he's gone, back to Hollywood. In between all of this, I study. I go to the library, write essays, prepare for my thesis. I send assignments up to college by special delivery so they'll arrive before Christmas. For once, I feel ahead of the curve. I talk to Topper on the phone. He tells me about Harvard and how fun it is to see my Cornelia and her boyfriend around town. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an engagement coming up soon, he says. We laugh. I can't even remember his name, I admit guiltily. Arthur. Artie, Topper laughs. Get it right and call your friend. Thanks, Master, I joke. I'll call her right away. One day, when I think we're having a good time, we've just been out buying Christmas presents with Red, who's home for the holidays. The boy sits me down. Baby, he says. And I know something I don't want to hear is coming. Uh-huh, I say, sitting beside him on the sofa in the downstairs sitting room. What is it? He clears his throat. You know I never wanted to lie to you, he begins. I want us to keep this thing clean, no lies, no secrets. I just nod. I could make up all sorts of stories, but I don't want to. And what I'm about to tell you, you ain't gonna like it. I feel a little sick. You know how the colonel wants me out with a lot of girls all the time, not just one? He tests. The urge to stop him, or to run, is almost unbearable. I feel heavy, and a tear forms in the corner of my eye. Oh, baby, he says, coming closer. I got a girl coming in just before Christmas. She's going to spend the holidays with the family at Audubon Drive. You what? I say. With your family? What about me? He shrugs, that old defensiveness flickering. Far as I know, you got a steady fella up in New York, don't you? He says, conveniently forgetting, of course, that he's got Barbara here in town and June in Biloxi, too. It's just for the papers, that's all, he adds quickly without weight. But I already know what's coming. So I tell him Miss Mary has Christmas off anyway, and that I've been invited to Tilly's for the holidays besides. There's a New Year's party I should attend. Good, he says. Well, that's that sorted. And I realize I've assumed all the wrong things. He has changed. Every day he's getting better at shutting things away, and I find myself worrying for him more than ever. I can't see this ending well. He tries to lighten the mood, and does it badly. You know how Marilyn Evans was decent to look at? He says. I don't reply. I'm staring into the fireplace, thinking about lighting it, because the room feels cold. Well, he continues, the new one's a real looker. Total babe. He says it without the slightest concern for my reaction. I say, filling the grate with firewood. Do tell. He doesn't catch the sarcasm, and I, in turn, don't catch the irony of my frustration. I'm not so different from him, really. I treat Topper much the same way the boy treats me, only I'm a little more sensitive, more discreet, and in contrast to the boy, I feel guilty about it. The fact that I've never even connected the dots is astonishing. Her name's Dottie Harmony. Is that really her name? I don't know, but she's a proper good-looking girl. Sexy, too. He's somewhere else entirely and doesn't notice my shoulders tense as I light the fire and sit in front of it, purposefully with my back to him. I want him to stop, to come back to me. Suddenly, I feel his arm around me. He's come to sit beside me on the floor. He's back. I'm sorry, he says, kissing my cheek. I'll make it up to you tomorrow, all right? Let's do something just us, something to get us back on track. It's hard when we're both gone so much. All right, I say, and get up. Let's go down to the garden studio, he says, brightening. We ain't hardly used it. At the little cottage at the edge of the garden, the floor is covered with Christmas presents. He gestures for me to go in and open them all. We can do Christmas now, he grins. All the jewelry he's bought is rose gold, not really my taste, until the last box, a platinum tennis bracelet. I kiss him and say thank you, that it's perfect. But nothing is perfect this Christmas. I start to think about how I want my life to be, outside of here, outside the South, outside of him. Perhaps I should move in a different direction. Perhaps I shouldn't toss everything else aside every time he calls. Because what's the reward? Then I look at him, and I see it right there. I tell myself I'm a fool. This love in Memphis will always be complicated. I kiss him, tell him I love him, and that I want to hear him sing. We go into his studio where he turns up the dials, and we fool around with the instruments. I sit at the piano and, for once, sing Come to Me, my melancholy baby for him. He gets a little teary. You got the prettiest voice, he says, wiping his eyes. I forgot you could play, too. He puts his arm around me, sitting down beside me. Don't let me forget that again, he says. We need a change of mood, so we mess around. He bangs at the keys. We laugh and sing Christmas songs until evening falls. Then we walk back up to the house and watch Now, Voyager in the screening room. When it's over, the boy cries and says he hates it. Jerry, and will you be happy, Charlotte? Charlotte, oh, Jerry, don't let's ask for the moon. We have the stars.